It's my cousin's birthday tomorrow and my love language is acts of service, so I made her a cake. I'm not a baker, okay? But I did my best and I didn't have all the baking equipment to decorate a cake, but I think it turned out pretty cute for a beginner. So how about you guys come with me to bake and make and decorate this cake? I hope she likes it. The first thing that we're gonna do, and the first thing you should always do when you bake a cake, is get our pans ready so that we're gonna put it right into the oven. So I'm just going to line it with some butter. I have this handy dandy thing here. Just gonna get butter all around the pan for both of them. So I'm using two 8-inch pans. You can do two 9-inch pans, you can do a square pan, whatever you wanna do. Obviously this is gonna prevent the cake from sticking to the pan and just make it taking it out a lot easier. And on top of the butter, we're going to add a piece of parchment paper just to make sure it comes out very, very smooth. There we go, our pans are ready, so let's get started on the cake. Now it's time to make the actual cake. I have a scale here because I want it to be exactly to the gram of proper weight, because it can vary if you do it by measuring spoon. If it's compressed too much, it'll weigh more. So to get the perfect fluffiness for the cake, I'm going to use a bowl and I'm going to put in 240 grams of flour into a sifter, because I'm going to sift it to make it extra smooth. So I'm just going to go ahead and sift that. Then I'm going to add in 400 grams of white sugar. And before I put the sugar in, I just remembered I didn't preheat the oven, so I'm gonna preheat the oven to 350. We're gonna add 400 grams of white sugar. And of course, it's a chocolate cake, so we are gonna add 50 grams of cocoa powder. We're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, and then about half a teaspoon of salt. Just gonna eye that. And again, we're gonna sift it. It's really important you sift it, especially the cocoa powder gets super duper clumpy. I'm not sure if you can see it from here. I'll show you what the cocoa powder ended up like. So I'm going to just smooth it all out through here, because you don't want to bite into a big chunk of cocoa powder. Now I'm gonna whisk this to make sure it's well incorporated, because sometimes you'll see that cakes have like a random bubble in them. That's because the baking soda or the baking powder wasn't well mixed in. So we just really want to make sure that everything is mixed well at this point before we go on to our wet ingredients. Now it's time for the wet ingredients. No need to measure this with a scale, because we are going to use our cup system for liquids. It's a lot easier to make sure that everything is the same because the weight is the same. So we do 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. The reason we're not using butter, which I prefer butter in cakes, is because you won't even be able to taste the butter from the cocoa powder, and this gives it a much better and softer dough when it's colder, because butter does get cold. So that's the reason we're using vegetable oil for this cake. 1/2 cup of vegetable oil goes into the bowl. Now we're going to add 2 eggs, and once we add our eggs, we're going to actually whisk at this point to make sure that the eggs are very well incorporated. You want to make sure that the eggs are room temperature as well. Just going to mix the eggs in the oil. To this, we're going to add 1 cup of full fat milk. You can also use buttercream or whipping cream or whatever like dairy product that you prefer. If you are vegetarian / vegan, I guess you wouldn't be using eggs, so you won't be doing this recipe. Just want to make sure it's well combined. So 1 cup of this. And we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to add a little bit more because I love the taste of vanilla. The more vanilla you add, the better it tastes, honestly. And then we're going to mix the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients. And then we're going to add a special ingredient, which is going to make our chocolate cake just so much better and livelier. I'm just going to go ahead and combine it. Don't need to overmix it, because then you get the gluten out of the flour, which is not what we want. Once the wet and dry ingredients are roughly combined, I'm going to add some hot coffee, which is our special recipe. I'm going to mix that in slowly. Again, you don't want to overmix it. And the batter will be a bit runny, but that's okay. It's still going to become an amazing, soft and fluffy cake. Batter is good. So now that everything's mixed, I'm going to put it into the pans that we prepped at the beginning. I'm actually gonna weigh it out just to try to get it to be almost the exact same in both pans. This way for decorating, it'll be a lot easier. Now I'm just gonna pop them in the oven for about 35 minutes until a toothpick runs clear. Now I'm gonna clean up. Now that the cakes are done baking and they're cooled down, I'm going to wrap them in saran wrap and put them in the freezer just so when I make the crumb coat, it's a lot easier to do and obviously there's no crumbs. I'm also going to level off some of it just so it's even and very pretty. Here's a hazelnut spread that I'm going to freeze to put in the middle. And now that I'm baking the cake, there's that hazelnut spread. And then I have it in between the 2 layers of cake. And I'm going to go around with a store-bought frosting. Now that the crumb coat is done, it's time to decorate, which is the best part to any cake. I have some water that's about to boil here and I have a glass bowl I'm just going to put on top. And I'm going to make a chocolate ganache just to do a drip around the cake. So I'm going to put some whipping cream in the bowl just because you don't want to have it directly on the heat because then it can burn the cream. We just want it to come really warm so that it'll melt our chocolate. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some cream, probably about 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup. While that is getting warm and going to come to a simmer, I'm going to chop up some dark chocolate. I'm just using Lindt chocolate. You can use any good quality chocolate that you have or that you like. And I'm just going to chop it roughly so that it melts easier. Now that the cream is heated, I'm going to add some chocolate and turn down the stove. So now that the ganache is ready, I'm just going to transfer it to a squeeze bottle so that I can do a drip really easily. It's probably going to get messy. I don't have, what are those things called that help you pour things, but I'm going to try my best I can. Okay, I just took the cake out of the freezer. This is going to help us do a better drip because it's cold, so on impact it should freeze almost. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So I'm just going to drip at the end, let it fall, move forward, same thing. So obviously I'm not a baker, although people say I have a bakery, so I don't have proper piping tips. So I'm just gonna do what I can to line the bottom. So I'm just gonna use a bag. I do have the bags, I just don't have a proper tip. I'm just gonna go around and just like go like that. Cake is pretty much done and decorated. I left it kind of simple. The drip did not turn out how I wanted it to. I'll give you guys a close-up too. And I'm just gonna add a little cute little happy birthday right in the middle. All done. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you,
I love you, I love you, I love you.